This might sound all too familiar. Living paycheck to paycheck? Well, nearly 2/3 of Americans are, according to a study that was conducted in part by Lending Club. That's up from 55% a year ago. So we're going to bring in our financial expert, Mark Triplett with Triplett Western North Financial Group, to kind of help us out here. All right, Mark, this is too much of a reality for too many people. So did this become a reality? How are so many people living paycheck to paycheck right now?
Well, definitely the rising cost of goods and services, inflation hasn't really helped out a lot. Just the necessities cost more today than they did a year ago. And particularly lower income households, that's really going to hit them hard. But frankly, there are a lot of folks out there that just have succumbed to what we call lifestyle creep as their income increased, so their lifestyle. I mean, can you imagine there's probably a family out there with a household income of $6,000 a month, and they may be feeling like they're living paycheck to paycheck, but then there could also be a family out there foreseeably that makes $12,000 a month, and they may be feeling like they're living paycheck to paycheck. How do you explain the difference? It's lifestyle creep.
Okay, so it's kind of what your reality is and just making it work. So let's talk about the future. How is this really affecting your future if you feel like you're making it work but still living paycheck to paycheck?
It really is about eliminating future choices. When you have unchecked spending, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're robbing your future ability to determine how you're going to react when an emergency comes up, or what your future lifestyle might look like, or if and when you're going to be able to retire. So eliminating those choices because of the actions we take today. But the good news is there are things you can do about it.
Okay, so you're kind of leading me into the next one. The important question here, how can we get out of that routine of living paycheck to paycheck?
Oh, Jackie, here we go. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the first thing is create a spending plan. Mastering your cash flow coming in and out of the household, that's the key to financial security, and really reducing stress in your household as well. I would start by listing your expenses. The easy ones are the utilities, mortgage, things of that nature that are consistent every month. But then I would also recommend review your account statements like credit card bills and account statements from bank accounts, looking for the miscellaneous spending, that cup of coffee here or there, or that other spending where it's your money's slipping through your fingers. Write all of that down. You can actually start with using a worksheet off of our website. We have a spending plan out there at triplett-westendorf.com. You can download one. Once you've done that, track your spending. Jackie, I like to keep my receipts. I know it sounds kind of old-fashioned, but when I make a transaction somewhere, with a vendor, with a store or whatever, I get a receipt. I take that home. I write all those down every single night. I put it in a check register even though I don't write checks anymore. Just so I can track everything so I know where it's going. That allows me to manage and control the cash flow in the household. And then once you've done that, you can start to look for expenses to cut. I mean, how many folks have I run across that have streaming services that they don't even know they have anymore? They signed up for something, they may have 2 or 3 of them, and it's a monthly expense that's running in the background. They don't even derive any enjoyment from it. So different things like that really come back to just tracking your spending, knowing where the money's going, and then cutting those expenses where you can.
All right, I'm hiding right now because I am one of those people. So, okay, already learning. I need to watch it. Do you think it's making it a visual thing? Because everything right now is via our phone. It's so easy, Apple Pay, or, you go boop and it's done. And there used to be a time where, yes, you had to write it in a check and you physically were making that decision and keeping track of it. Now everything is done virtually, that we don't always necessarily know what we are spending money on. Do we just need to make it more visually, more visible, more tangible?
I really think you do. And I also find it beneficial to just stop and ask myself, am I really going to benefit from this? Am I really going to derive some long-term enjoyment from it? Because it's so easy to say yes when you're spending your electronic money. It's very different than when you're pulling out cash or you're writing a check. That's very tangible. But when you're just clicking a button and there goes $100, that's so easy to get out of control so quickly, and then you don't see it tallied until you open your account statement at the end of the month and go, where did it all go? And that's just that unchecked spending. Some folks are really living paycheck to paycheck. Other folks have just succumbed to lifestyle creep, and they can do something about it pretty quickly.
That's very true. Although I don't know if that's going to work for me when I'm buying my coffee, because that is going to bring me instant enjoyment and gratification. All right, Mark, thank you very much. If people just want to work on that worksheet and that can make a difference for them, where can they go get that?
Visit triplett-westendorf.com under the resources tab at the top and the Financial Education Center, and then it'll drop down. You can get a worksheet there and get started. And just keep track of where your money's going so you can master it and manage it.
All right, great advice this morning, Mark. Always appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.